Okay, what's up? So I thought this is actually a pretty good opportunity here to show kind of two different things. Number one, seeing that something might not be a hedge, and number two, forming a thesis. So one of the questions that people always ask about flow, right, is how do I know it's not a hedge? How do I know it's not a hedge? Because let's be real, right? Like the essentially, in its essence, unusual options activity is hedging, right? It's people buying insurance on contracts that they have. That's what it's mostly for. And then you've got this sort of percentage of degenerates, such as ourselves, but also ones with more money, who use it to a different purpose, which is to make larger returns than they would get on stocks. So here, again, I'll go through really quick. I'm just in my filter called the People's Filter. This is just kind of my generic filter for what do we have? We have ask side. I do look at bid side too, but I start with ask side and then I go look to see if there's matching orders on the bid side. Calls, I typically am calls or puts, and I'm typically looking for right something really expensive. Right, so I'm looking for a really expensive premium. Someone who's dropping a lot of money. I'm looking for like $100,000 or more. Sometimes I take it down to like 50,000. I'm looking for within a month's expiration because I want to see people who are putting large amounts of money on something happening very quickly. Right, that's usually a pretty good sign. And then as far as the rest of it, I take cross trades out. I take out like indexes for obvious reasons, indices, whatever. Oh, that should be outside the money only. And let's see, multi-leg. I always do single leg for these. Again, this is just one of the filters that I use. This is what like I call my YOLO filter to see who's making really big bets outside the money. Nate, who's in our Discord, he's always on my Twitter and stuff. He's really good at like multi-leg strategies and stuff. It's not my specialty. So, and then we can go through that filter more. If you pop into my Discord, it's free, so I'm not like trying to upsell you. You just pop in, we can talk about it. It's cool. So here's what I noticed. I noticed on whenever the 28th was, Wednesday or whatever, someone dropped 113,000 in premium on these BAC ask side puts way outside the money. The stock's at 28. They're dropping them at 25.5, right? You can see here. 7,600 volume, and like all of it held, right? Like literally all of it, right? So that's usually a pretty good sign. So that put it onto my radar. I went to go look, see like, is the order clean? I'm going to take this to 250 results per page. And there's our order right there, 113K. Bought or sold to open. These are likely bought to open, right? No volume on the, no OI on the position so far. This looks clean. Then I was kind of poking around, and the other thing I noticed, if you go about a week earlier, someone went ahead and put 26 puts when it was trading at 28.50, right? So about a week apart, almost the same premium on a monthly, right? 26p, we look, held almost all the volume on that, and they've continued to hold. Right, so now I'm looking at, so this is what I'm talking about learning it's more than a hedge. I consider, right, if you see something once, it could just be a crazy whale. They could be drunk, they could, whatever. But now I'm seeing two orders a week apart for similar premium on roughly the same amount of outside the money Bank of America puts, right? About $2.50 outside the money for each of these. They're holding them. The positions are down. We did the math about 50%, but they're still holding these positions. So now I'm starting to think, okay, maybe there's something going on with Bank of America here. What I'm going to do tomorrow, once we get some more market movement, is kind of see if maybe, Wells Fargo or some of the other ones are moving like that. But what I wanted to show was this kind of process of maybe making a little bit of a thesis, right? So what do we know? We know that the CPI reading that comes out on July 12th, we know that the expirations for these are on the 21st, and I think this one's the 28th, right? So after the CPI release. A lot of time on it. What else do we know? We also know that, and I'm just doing the Google version here so that you could see it like clearly, right? We do know that when interest rates rise, we know that banks, etc., tend to do better, right? So we know that if interest rates fall, they tend to do worse. So right now, what's swimming in my head is this related to CPI? Are we going to have some inflation news that tells us that we're going to continue the pause on the rate hikes, we're going to be lowering those interest rates, and that's going to be bad for bank stocks? That's kind of what's floating in my head right now as a potential thesis, not a firm one, but like a very strong one that I want to dig more into, have conversations with people. This is where I start talking with people who are, more experts in banking and stuff like that. So what I wanted to really show you, though, was just how much more powerful it is to see 2 points of confluence on something instead of one. So if you're wondering whether it's a hedge or whether it's not a hedge, poke around, see if you can find more info. Another way you can do that is really easy, is you could just go to, and I've got it favorited here, but you can go to the intraday analyst page, right? So then I could go to BAC, and then I can kind of look around the chains, right? So even if I hadn't seen that on my screener, I might be able to look around the chains and see if I find any confluence. So an example might be right here, like I like this Zoom, right? I like this Zoom. Someone dropped like 500K on outside the money Zoom calls I saw. So I might go like over to Zoom, look at the intraday analyst, look at what the different chains are, see what people are buying, right? So I see here highest OI chains are on this 80. Oh, 721, 80 call. Oh, look at that. Zoom 80 call 721. So I just found this right now. Someone did that on 613. They have not held. They have not let go. So that's how you do that. Look on intraday analyst. If you don't see it on your screen, or just poke around. Basically, find different points of confluence. All right, bye.